I'm Luke Darcy. Welcome to the House of Wellness. Great to be with Joe Stanley as always. Jacqui Felgate, Dr. Nick Carr. Welcome, guys. And it's time to start thinking, Jack, about taxes or maybe even mid-year sales. It's end of financial year, which comes around pretty quickly.
Oh, my gosh. I feel like I've only just done last year's tax return, because I have. How fast has the first half of 2024 gone?
Well, they say that money makes the world go around, and it's certainly true because it affects every aspect of our lives. And from the medical perspective, we know that financial health does have a significant effect on overall well-being.
And of course, we've been talking a lot about the rising cost of living, and 60% of us are more financially aware than we were a year ago, which doesn't surprise me.
And a staggering 90% of people who are struggling say that the stress is affecting their mental health.
Well, today we take stock of our minds and bodies by doing a wellness check on our finances. Everything from where to get a cheap budget meal to where to find one of those disappearing banks or ATMs.
We get expert advice on how to stay on top of financial stress.
And Aussie athlete Brooke Bushkull joins us to share how she leaps ahead in sport and in life.
So I think everyone's had that moment at the checkout where you get the bill and you think, did I actually spend that much? And right now, everyone is counting every dollar that they spend.
And holidays and eating out are often the first things to go. So one Melbourne restaurant is fighting back by turning back time on prices. $5 for a bowl of pasta, $4 for a freshly squeezed orange juice, and just a couple of bucks for a generous slice of cake.
I looked at the prices and I thought, what, have I jumped in Doctor Who's TARDIS? Is this the 1970s?
It's not a joke or even a special deal. This is the daily menu at the heart of Carlton, the cheapest and cosiest cafe in one of Melbourne's most iconic foodie hotspots.
It truly is the heart of Carlton. It's a small cafe that's run out of passion more than money.
My friend told me about it and I met her here, and my first reaction was like the prices. As a student, I was like, this is incredible.
It's nice food as well, you know, it's I don't know how they do it.
What can we get you? We both just work really hard. Nothing beats just good old-fashioned hard work, and when you, in a sense, believe in what you're doing, that gives you great motivation to do the extra that's necessary.
Husband and wife, Michael and Nadine Kelly, have been running this bohemian eatery all on their own for 6 years. But the idea behind it has been stewing in Michael's mind for decades.
Basically, I went to prison for a few years for an armed robbery, and I had some other experiences which were even sort of, you know, a little bit more complex and intense than that. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just me as a person, but those heavy experiences really made me think very deeply about life. That's kind of a lot of what this cafe is about. How can I interact in such a way to sort of have the most positive effect?
At a time where most cafes are hiking up their prices to cope with the rising cost of living, the Kellys are refusing to budge on their mission to make hearty meals that are affordable to everyone.
I try and be in the cafe by, say, 4 a.m. and just slowly ease into the day by some cooking and getting things organised, getting set up. And then usually by the time we're ready to open, which is 6, there's very often people that will be here ready to have a cup of coffee. And from 11 o'clock right through to most of the times till close, it's full on. That's the day done. Good night's sleep, and for some strange reason you wake up feeling incredibly ready to go again.
On the side and let your backbone slow.
I just feel happy that they come in here and they get quite a decent meal, and they walk out and they don't have this sinking feeling as though they've just lost some more money, and that's one extra thing that they're worried about.
You know, like, look at the sign up there, love equals $0. But it's not just the prices. It's Michael and Nadine. That's what makes it. And it's the people that come here that make it. It's the musicians, it's the books, it's the... Like, Michael built the whole interiors.
The world is coming here into our cafe in a very real way, and so you get access and exposure to so much. It's a privilege, actually.
Life life's expensive now. You know, like I've got a retail store, business is down 70%.
It's hard to find that community base because it's so expensive to go out. Like, I talk to my parents and they talk about having the local pub, and we have our local pub, but we can't go there as regularly as we'd like as students because you just can't afford it.
Money is important. Like, we all have to pay our bills and try and make a fair contribution, but I don't know, I just think everything that we're looking at in the world today, there is so much hate, isn't there? You know, in so many things, and really, you know, love is the answer.
Well, in some instances, the cost of takeaway food has risen by as much as 25%. It's why the Heart of Carlton is such a brilliant story. Congratulations to the team there. We are all barracking for you.
And with the rising cost of living and also the housing crisis, there's one group that's being hit harder than others. And the latest stats show that Australian women are 40% more likely than men to experience financial stress as a result.
And Jack, that coincides with the sobering fact that women over 55 is the fastest growing group of people experiencing homelessness in Australia.
That's really terrible news, Joe, and it's partly due to the gender pay gap and also the lower rates of savings and super that women have. And, of course, women have traditionally given up a lot of their income for looking after the family.
As you discussed, Joe and Jack, the current housing shortage and the skyrocketing cost of rent, as you said, it's a really sobering time at the moment all round.
And of course, if you're experiencing financial stress, it can have a huge impact on your mental and physical health. Here's Renee Verco, who's really passionate about helping Australians become financially savvy.
Money feels quite complicated to a lot of people, and we've got a lot of challenges that we face now in, dealing with our personal finances. Money's not something that's taught at school, and you've got lots of businesses who are all trying to, beat the algorithm on social media channels to get us to buy a certain lifestyle or certain products. We've got buy now, pay later schemes, so a lot of people are in this position where they are spending more than they are earning, and that's just going to be a vicious cycle that is going to have them chasing their tail for a long, long time. Money is not a tangible thing like it was 20 years ago. You'd see your money, you'd divide it up into the areas that need to go, the grocery money, the bill money, and you'd be dealing with the physical side of money. Whereas nowadays, we don't see the money so much. We're just tapping and going as we go along our way, and we very easily lose control of what we're spending. That can cause a lot of stress. Communication around money is really, really important with your partner and your family on where your financial situation is at. Check in on the goals that you're working towards, whether that be repaying debt, building up savings, investments. That you're also talking about your emotions around money, how you're feeling in terms of your overall sense of security and if you're on track to achieve your goals. And it's really important to have that open communication and regular conversations about money. You certainly do not have to be wealthy to be empowered with your finances. The size of your paycheck, that doesn't necessarily correlate to your financial success or your level of stress around finances. I've certainly worked with people who've been on very high incomes and are not in control of their financial worlds, and people on much lower incomes who do feel in control and feel very confident around their affairs. For a lot of people, having that financial security behind them is something that's really important that can alleviate a lot of stress. No matter where you are on your journey, following the basic fundamentals of successful financial management is making sure that you are spending less than you are earning, that you are living within your means, that you have some emergency funds and some backup money in case anything should go awry, and that you're building for your future in some way. That is what's going to give you that sense of financial empowerment and ultimately give you a level of financial freedom later on in life.
Up next, we look at the rise of the cashless society and why actual bank branches seem even harder to find. And Luke Hines immerses himself in a heavenly healing ceremony. That's after this.
Joe, I don't carry a wallet anymore. I've never got cash. I'm 100% tap and go, which surprises me when I think about it.
Well, I did use a tenner to buy a coffee the other day. I don't know why I had that. And they were surprised. They were shocked that I had cash.
Well, I must admit, I'm a little bit alarmed about a cashless society and the chance that we're going to lose our freedom. It doesn't worry the Gen Zers, though. It's more the baby boomers, people living in regional areas and low-income earners who are resistant to it, Joe. And I have to say, I've got a bit of empathy for that.
Well, we do love the convenience of cards, but cash is actually making a bit of a comeback. It's tangible, and I do think it helps you spend less. And actually, 3/4 of Australians say they fear going completely cashless.
Yeah, and the Reserve Bank actually ensures ATMs are available to all people at a certain distance, and they're thinking about bringing the same rules in for bank branches as well, which I think is a good thing. Do you remember the first time you went and had an appointment at the bank, Joe, and you put your best clothes on and you met the bank manager? It was a real financial rite of passage.
Well, it also coincided with my first casual job, so let me tell you, I thought I was minted. It was such an exciting time for my $10 an hour that I was getting. But, you know, you can't put a BSB number under the pillow for the tooth fairy, can you? And you can't make your gold coin donation at school with an online bank account, can you? It doesn't work that way.
No, fair enough.
Sometimes it's good to get back to basics, as Luke Hines discovered in this heavenly ceremony based around the food of the gods.
There's a bit of a trend going on with cacao at the moment, which is no surprise because who can resist trying the purest form of chocolate? But it seems there is a lot more to what's traditionally known as the food of the gods. I am ready to indulge my senses and prepare for some soul-searching as I take a dive into the ancient tradition of a cacao ceremony where sampling the magic brew unlocks secrets of the heart and ignites the soul. Fernando, when I hear the word cacao, I instantly think chocolate.
Yeah.
How is cacao and chocolate related?
They came from the same plant, but they are very different things. Cacao is the natural product and process, and it contains all the natural properties, all the benefits, they are in cacao. Now we're gonna connect with Father Sky. He's the one that then the message from the star people continue talking to us.
And you use it in a ceremony. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, so the cacao ceremony is a moment where you connect with yourself. It's a moment where people drink cacao together so they can relate to people. They can learn to relate to nature and relate to the family, the society. It has them to come together. Sí, Padre, Madre, agradeciéndote por este día de vida.
Is ceremonial cacao the same as the raw cacao that we can buy at the health food shop?
Not quite. Like ceremonial cacao, as the word says, it means that it's been prepared in ceremony. It means that it was prepared using fire to roast the beans, and you have used a way to prepare with your hands. Everything is without using the machines. We grind the cacao beans in a stone that is called metate till it became a paste, and then we mix it with water and we drink it.
Is there anything else in it?
Well, I like to use corn because you know, corn is another plant that is very special in Mexico.
What was your first experience with a cacao ceremony?
My first experience was a sense of connection with something bigger than myself. It was with the fire. So the fire, it made me realize that there's another world much more deeper than the one we see every day.
Is it something that's been passed down through your family for generations?
My grandmother, her name Lucia, she used to speak the indigenous language, and I remember her speaking, and I remember her using a lot of different herbs. And at the time when I was a kid, I couldn't really understand very much, but when she passed away, after that I was able to appreciate more of the things that she used to do, and that's when I started trying to find out more about it, and that's how I ended up in this way of life of doing things in ceremony and praying and, you know, making people's life better through ceremony.
And what about the candles pointing north, south, east and west?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. So the candles, they have different colors because in traditionally we believe that in every direction there's an energy and every direction contains a teaching as well. So when we put those candles, we calling upon those energies to come to that space.
And water, how important is that?
Well, water is life. You know, without water we're nothing, there's no life. So in our ceremonies, we include the 4 elements that give life. The water is there because we pray to the water, we are water, and the air is with the copal, is cleaning, and it's also helping us with our mind because the air is connected to our minds, to our thoughts, and it gives us clarity.
What are people coming there for? Is it to release stress or emotions?
Yes, you can, have that opportunity to release emotions because we as Indigenous people recognize that most of the sickness in this modern life is caused by emotions that they haven't been processed. So when you come to the ceremonies, you have that opportunity to release that stress and to be able to feel connected, a sense of being in community. It helps you to come back to a place of wellness and wholeness.
Well, that was incredibly powerful. And whilst it wasn't a full-blown cacao ceremony outdoors with the bonfire, the sense of community in this room was so special. When I took a sip of that drink, I didn't know what to expect. I was probably hoping it would be like a hot chocolate, but it was so much more. I loved that it was strong and I loved that it was bitter. But most of all, I loved that the response in my body was powerful. Plus, it's such a sensory experience. You've got the candles, the light, the smoke and the sound and the singing. You can't help but be immersed. What I love about it is that it connects both the physical with the mental, but also brings it together with the spiritual. Now, you don't have to be a fan of chocolate to get into this and learn something from it. So if you're a little bit curious, take a sip and give it a go.
There's been a dramatic increase in the number of national measles cases. And as measles is usually brought into the country from returning overseas travellers, doctors are urging those people to keep up with their jabs, and anyone born after 1965 should have too. We're back after this.
Wall Pilates has taken over my TikTok feed. And while some fitness fads are dangerous and others just a little weird, Wall Pilates is grounded in Pilates movements and a great way to re-energize your workouts. Pilates was originally designed to help dancers strengthen their bodies to avoid overuse injuries. The focus is on the abs, glutes, hips, inner thighs, and lower back. You perform the same moves as regular Pilates, but with a wall instead of the foot bar on a reformer bed. You might have done a clam lying down, but this version recruits new muscles as you stabilize your body against gravity and against the wall. Superset this with the previous exercise for added cardio. Now that's very Pilates. With a lot of these exercises, your legs are above your head, so you may experience better circulation, improved digestion in sleep, and reduced muscle cramps. But be careful when you stand up right afterwards. What do you get if you combine calf raises and a wall sit? A Frankenstein movement that works almost the entire lower body. Lift your heels off the mat while staying in a wall sit and lower back down. Aim for 15 reps. Variety is the spice of life, and it's so true when it comes to exercise. So if you're bored of your current program or looking to start exercising for the first time, Wall Pilates is a cheap and easy way to do it.
Jack, everyone's feeling the financial pinch at the moment, and not just at the supermarkets. Our insurance premiums for our cars, for our homes, health insurance, even life insurance have all had massive hikes.
Insurance premiums are actually rising faster than inflation, Darcy. Isn't that a nice little gift? So anything we can do to keep those pesky regular payments down is a bonus.
And on that note, Jack, local scientists have helped protect our homes from fires, developing a fire retardant paint which has passed our very stringent fire regulation protocols.
Engineers at the University of New South Wales in Sydney have helped create the paint which actually deflects heat. It acts like an insulator. So not only will it hopefully make our homes and businesses safer, it could also bring down our insurance premiums.
And Jack, we've been talking a lot today about small steps to improve our financial health, or you could take one giant leap like Aussie long jump legend Brooke Bushcool, who's done exactly that. And here she is with our own Abby Holmes.
How does it feel knowing that A, you're the best in Australia at a long jump, and B, that you're the hunted? Everybody wants to be where you are.
It's a pretty nice feeling. I guess, you know, being the Australian record holder, I've set a pretty high standard for the event here in Australia. I know that there's a lot of younger girls coming through as well at the moment, you know, that are sort of making some good progress, and it's definitely keeping me on my toes. And yeah, it's what you need though. You need the competition, and you need the girls jumping close to, you know, what you can do and what you're capable of doing. That gives you that little kick, and yeah, it's healthy competition.
You mentioned young girls. You too were a young girl once upon a time. How did you
long time ago.
How did you first get involved with long jump?
Started back in little athletics. So my older brother, Jamie, started a couple of years prior to me starting, and just went along and watched him compete and saw how much fun he was having with all the friends that he'd made, and I knew that I wanted to give it a go, and yeah, I literally haven't looked back since. So started in under 6, and here we are 25 years later.
You're a very active family, as you just said. Your brother first as junior athletics, and then your sister. I've played footy with Strats, but your dad's your coach as well, so it really is a big family affair. I guess everybody's really healthy and active.
Yeah, we're all super passionate about health and fitness and sport, and having my dad and my mum bring us up, getting us really involved in sport has been fantastic. And my dad coached not just myself, but my 3 siblings as well. So it's really nice to be able to support each other and have the support from my parents and siblings as well.
Here's Bushcool, round 4. Oh, lots of height.
What are some of the biggest attributes that you need for long jump? I mean, we watched you here today. I swear there's springs in here somewhere.
Definitely speed on the runway, that's the key. So that's something that I work on a lot in training. So speed on the runway, and then also just making sure that you're hitting the board and approaching the board with as much speed behind you, so no hesitation. But also, yeah, you need to have some good spring in the legs. So I think that's definitely probably my best attribute, just the power and strength that I've got in my legs.
Just on that as well, you were diagnosed with celiac disease?
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of your nutrition and your diet and your preparation for events, how did that kind of alter things for you as a professional athlete?
Yeah, it's pretty challenging to say the least. Being on a strict 100% gluten-free diet means that I have to be careful when I eat out. So I try and avoid eating out, particularly around competition time, because all it takes is one breadcrumb for someone with celiac disease to, you know, feel unwell and, you know, deal with all the symptoms that come with that condition. So I try and, you know, book an Airbnb or an apartment that has cooking facilities so I can prepare a lot of my own food. But I work with a dietitian at the Victorian Institute of Sport, so it's really handy having the advice and guidance from them. But yeah, we manage as best as we can.
Was it always on your radar that you wanted to be an Olympian?
It was, from a pretty young age actually. When I was in grade 1, I watched Cathy Freeman in the Sydney Olympics. And that was really the moment that I realised I wanted to put on the green and gold one day, and I wanted to represent Australia, make an Olympic team. And yeah, I think looking back on it now, it's crazy to think what I've been able to achieve, having that dream from such a young age.
I can imagine there was a lot of relief as well, being diagnosed and actually understanding that that's what the concern was.
Yeah, 100%. It was a massive relief. It was also a bit overwhelming, to be honest, because I'd never actually heard of what celiac disease was. I'd never even heard of celiac disease. So to have been able to get that diagnosis and then try and increase my knowledge around what I needed to do to get my health back on track.
Brooke Bushkickle has been on fire this year and has now taken her second silver medal in her second Commonwealth Games.
What are your goals, both looking kind of immediately and short term and then long term as well?
Short term, I'd love to win a medal in Paris. I know that I'm capable of doing it. I just have to get to Paris in the shape that I know I need to be to win a medal. I've jumped 7:13 before, and that distance is definitely good enough to be on a podium. I just need to do it at a major championships. So I'd love to win a medal of any colour. And I think beyond that, I'm not really too sure yet. You know, there's going to be a lot of highs and lows, ups and downs, but I think the main thing that I've learned in my 25 years of doing the sport is just to enjoy it.
So Lana, we are best friends. I speak to you daily, and I know we've worked together on a lot of red carpets, me on hair and makeup, you as a stylist. Tell me, where did your passion for fashion originate?
Probably originated from my mum and my grandmother. My grandmother was Imelda, that's what we used to call her. Like, if anyone doesn't know who Imelda is, she had this huge shoe collection. And I think my mum sort of took a bit of that and gave it to us. But I just love fashion. I really feel like it gives you a sense of identity, it makes you feel powerful. So that was where it started, really.
Being a stylist and now shoe designer is such a dream job for so many people, but you've discussed before your burnout and fatigue with creating a startup business. How did that show up for you?
For me, it showed up in ways I didn't anticipate. My burnout was happening running around chasing clients. It was showing up in ways with the way that I slept at night, like I wouldn't sleep through.
Yep.
So I think being able to kind of self-assess and be able to go, okay, what are the things I could do to better myself and my, my well-being? So I think your diet's really important, so I started to assess that. I think being able to do things that are for yourself. So I train 3 times a week. And then I'd probably say, leaning into my team. I've got a great team, and you've got to put your hand up sometimes to be able to say, I can't do everything.
Yeah.
And employ people to do the things that you're not the best at. All you can do is your best, and that's what I live by.
Lance, you always look amazing, and I know it's not easy when you've got a thriving career and you're a busy mum. What does beauty mean to you? Beauty for me is about doing those finer things, like making sure I get enough sleep at night, making sure that I, cleanse my skin of an evening, that I do it in the morning, and that, to be honest, I've got makeup that can be put on quick. So I like having those quick and easy, tips to be able to get my face on in the morning. So this is my go-to lip. I'm just going to line that very lightly. And if you ever make a mistake and you've gone a little bit hard, you just have to blend it out with your finger. So now I'm using the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss. It's so good. Remember those juicy tubes? It reminds me of when I was a kid. I loved them. And they work so well in terms of just having that nice amount of sheen, nice amount of gloss, and just looking fresh. So go back in after the gloss is on for your second layer of liner. It's simple, easy, done in a few minutes, and it just looks effective, I think, with a good cheek, a nice eye. So, do you feel like you've got this covered? Do you think you could do this at home yourself? I think I can do this. I could do this because you taught me, so I think I can master that. We can't have a stylist on the show without asking you, what is one piece of clothing that we should all invest in? Well, first of all, I'm going to stop you because you know me. It's not going to say one. I'm probably going to say maybe a handful. I'm going to tell you need a blazer, you need a good tailored pant, you need a great white shirt, you need a great pair of shoes, preferably Lana Wilkinson's, and you need a statement accessory, whether that be in your jewellery, in your bag, just things that give you flexibility with how you put your outfit together. So I feel like I already know this answer, but what comes first? The makeup or the outfit? The outfit. Jade.
Drama, mama, I be getting all that good karma.
Jo, there's something really special about women supporting women, especially when it comes to business.
Oh, it is my greatest passion, Jack. And when it comes to women business owners, I think often we're underestimated, but actually bring a really unique skill. Like, I wonder if we're better at conflict resolution because we're more willing to talk it out.
Well, conflict resolution and arguments, they're just part of life, aren't they? But there are better ways to handle it.
Experts say the biggest don't when it comes to arguing is don't fight to win. You know, you want to reach understanding. It's not about actually trying to prove the other person wrong.
And also let that person have their say. Don't blame them, don't interrupt, and also don't withdraw.
And the most effective arguments are the ones where we focus on active listening and understanding. And, you know, take a break if you feel yourself losing control of your emotions, because at the end of the day, Jack, we're all just wanting to be heard and cared for, aren't we?
We are, and forgiven at times, which I think is really important. So from preserving relationships to pickling vegetables, there's a good segue. Here's Nana Anna.
Quickling is one of the quickest methods of pickling, hence its name. Basically, you just take any vegetable, chop it up, and add a mixture of vinegar, sugar, water and salt, and then pop it in the fridge. Quickling is a small-scale, simple way to preserve food. You don't need any specialist equipment, and you can make up a couple of jars just in an afternoon. You can quickle just about anything. Fruits, vegetables, herbs, they're all fair game. Some of the more unusual things you can quickle are things like watermelon rind. This is the white part of watermelon that's just been put in some rice wine vinegar, water and sugar, and it's a crispy, wonderful addition to any cheese plate. Like any kind of preserving, it's important that you do it safely. And when it comes to quickling, that involves using vinegar that's got a 5% acidity, like apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, or rice wine vinegar. To make cucumber quickles, which are my absolute favourite, simply slice up cucumbers, add them to a bowl with some salt and leave them alone for a half an hour. After about half an hour, rinse them off and drain any water. Pop them into a clean jar with any flavourings you might like. Dill, black pepper, mustard seeds are all good. Make a pickling solution by adding equal quantities vinegar and water and then a dash of salt. Heat this until the salt is dissolved, then pour over your cucumbers in the jar. Seal it while it's hot, and once it's cool, pop it in the fridge where it'll keep for several months. The process of making a quickle is essentially the same no matter what you're making. You can change up your vinegars and add different spices and change the way you chop your veggies. In any case, all you want to do is make them small, cover them in a vinegar solution and keep them in the fridge. If you've been wanting to get into preserving food, quickling is the way to go. It allows you to catch and store energy in a simple way that's cost-effective and tasty.
Because we're all different, when it comes to finding that one solution that's exactly right for us, there's no one size fits all. So what if you can tailor-make that solution to suit just you? Surgipack Gelatine capsules offer versatility and convenience in the administration of medicines and herbal supplements, whether for therapeutic or nutritional purposes. The empty casings allow a personalised approach for a range of specific requirements, preferences or tastes. From creating custom formulations of oral medications, eliminating the coating taste of tablets, encapsulating powders for ease of swallowing, or combining supplements into a single dose. The capsules are made from 100% bovine pharmaceutical gelatine. Health is personal. Everyone is on their own journey. But one thing we all have in common is having the opportunity to make that journey more manageable.
We've been talking quite a bit today about financial woes, and Dr. Nick, I firmly believe that the tougher times get, people pull together more.
Yeah, well, we saw that during the pandemic, Joe, which was proved to make people kinder all around the globe. And while money might be a little bit tight at the moment, that doesn't seem to have stopped people's willingness to help, because 2023 saw a record number of Victorians do the first aid training, which is absolutely music to my ears.
More than 170,000 Victorians learned life-saving skills, with almost half of those being trained by St John Ambulance, which is a record in the service's 140 50-year history.
And St John also report more than 10,000 Victorians did both the CPR and defibrillating training last year, which is an almost 200% increase. And knowing those two skills really helps save the lives of people having heart attacks. So bravo to those who took the time to learn.
While I love tackling an adventurous recipe, you can't go wrong with a basic meat and salad dish. And I'm leaning into that simple yet delicious philosophy today with my lemon lamb backstrap with lime salsa. Start with the lamb marinade. A few forms of lemon are in play here. Zest, juice, lemon thyme. All the citrusy acids help tenderise the meat. Let it sit for 60 minutes while I get onto the salsa. Limes deliver freshness with a slight bitter taste, pairing perfectly with the sweet tanginess of the parsley and delicate sharpness of the Spanish onion. Can't forget the staples, bringing it all together. Olive oil, sea salt and pepper. It's the salsa's turn to marinate, and the lamb is ready for the grill. Red meat isn't for everyone, but for those who love it, it's a good source of zinc. 4 to 6 minutes each side is plenty. You still want it pink on the inside for that mouth-watering tenderness. Serve on a bed of wilted kale or spinach with a side of salsa. Anthony Bourdain said that good food is very often, even most often, simple food. And this dish is a testament to that. Get Nourished is brought to you by Swiss Wellness. Support healthy immune system function with Swiss UltiBoost Zinc Plus.
Like many of our body's processes, we don't normally think of our bones and our muscles until something goes wrong, but they're both essential in keeping us moving. Bones hold our body upright and protect vital organs, while muscles help maintain our posture. They also contract and relax actively, and sometimes without us even knowing. Thankfully, caring for them is easy. You just need to know what nutrients to look for as part of a healthy, balanced diet, as well as exercise. Introducing the new Ostalin Vitamin D3 plus calcium plus magnesium, a specialised formula to support your active lifestyle by assisting bone and muscle health. The combo includes vitamin D3, which helps increase dietary calcium absorption and supports bone strength. Hand in hand with vitamin D3 is the nutrient most commonly associated with bone health, calcium. As for the muscles, the addition of high-strength magnesium helps provide relief for muscle cramps, mild muscle spasms, and supports muscle tiredness when dietary intake is inadequate. It also supports overall muscle health. Every expert will tell you that one of the key pillars of your physical and mental health is moving your body every day. And whether you're the queen of boxercise or Pilates, we can't neglect the musculoskeletal system, allowing us to move however we choose.
When I think about our finances, most of us go to work to earn money and then spend the majority of it on our family and our home lives. And so work and home are probably the two big divisions in our life when I think about it.
But for the growing number of people who work from home, that division is becoming blurred, Das, which is why there's a school of thought that encourages us to find a third place, which is a place that is away from the demands of that work-home life.
I really love this idea, Joe. The sociologist who came up with the idea of third places, he describes them as social and accessible public spaces, which promote things things like conversation and relaxation. Places like cafes, libraries, churches, that sort of thing.
It's basically anywhere you can go and engage with different people, and people being the operative word here, because social contact is one of the key things about third places.
And your third place should be low cost or free and somewhere where you don't have to go.
So, like, not the gym, where I don't talk to anybody?
Well, experts say that socialisation is actually a learned behaviour and that many of us adults have actually forgotten how to make new friends. So one of the pieces of advice is take it gently, go a bit slowly, because it may take time.
Well, a bit of a shout out to my mate Adam Hilton, who's organised about 15 or 16 of us to ride the spin bikes in the morning. I must admit, I was a bit reluctant early, but you catch up, do some exercise, have a coffee, and a little bit of that social connection you're talking about, Nick. That's all we've got time for today on the House of Wellness. Thanks to Nick Carr, to Jacqui Felgate, and to Joe Stanley.
Make sure you check out House of Wellness Radio with Gerald Quigley and Luke Hines every Sunday.
Thanks to our great friends at Chemist Warehouse. It's bye for now.